The lights went out suddenly. 1 second the room was glowing with the faint hum of electricity, the next it was swallowed whole by darkness. My chest tightened as silence followed, so thick I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. Instinctively I reached for my phone. The glow of the screen should have been my comfort, the only light I could count on. But when my thumb pressed the button, nothing happened. No flicker. No buzz. No light. The battery was gone. I sat frozen in the dark, my fingers trembling around the cold device. I could feel the weight of the room pressing in, the air heavier, the shadows alive even though I couldn't see them. Every creak of the floorboards, every groan of the walls seemed louder, sharper. I whispered to myself just to break the silence. It's fine. Just a power cut. Just the battery. My voice sounded small, swallowed instantly by the dark. But deep down, something in me knew this was not fine. Because the darkness didn't feel empty. It felt occupied. The silence stretched on, but it wasn't the silence of an empty house. It was layered, like there was something underneath it. A faint sound I couldn't name. A rhythm out of sync with my own breathing. I held my phone tighter, useless as it was, and strained my ears. There it was again. A soft shift, like fabric brushing against wood. My throat tightened. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe the house settling. Maybe my imagination. But the longer I sat there, the more certain I became that I wasn't imagining it at all. I stood slowly, my hands sliding along the table, knocking against a glass. The sharp clink shattered the stillness, and for a split second, I thought I heard another sound respond. A shuffle, quick, then still. My skin prickled. I backed toward the drawer where I kept a flashlight, yanking it open. Empty. I could have sworn it was there yesterday. My chest tightened as I rummaged frantically, knocking utensils and paper aside. Nothing. The house seemed to breathe with me, each inhale and exhale magnified. I tried the light switch again, flipping it up and down though I already knew the result. Nothing. That's when I heard it clearly. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate, somewhere in the hallway. I froze, my body locked in place. My mind scrambled for explanations. Maybe it was the pipes, maybe an animal, maybe I was just tired. But I knew footsteps when I heard them. The uneven creak of floorboards, the measured pace. Someone was moving in the dark. I whispered into the emptiness. Hello. My voice cracked, fragile. No answer. Only silence. I forced myself to move, inching toward the window. My hands fumbled with the curtain, pulling it back just enough to see the faint glow of the streetlights outside. The world beyond looked calm, normal. But inside it was pitch black, suffocating, swallowing me whole. Then came another sound. Closer this time. Not footsteps. Breathing. I spun around, my heart slamming against my ribs. I couldn't see anything, but I could feel it. Warmth in the air. Heavier. Like someone was standing just beyond my reach. My voice shook. Who's there? Nothing. I backed toward the kitchen counter, my hands searching blindly for anything I could use. My fingers wrapped around a cold metal spoon, pathetic against whatever might be in here with me. The breathing stopped. And somehow that was worse. Because silence meant they were listening. I gripped the spoon tighter, my eyes wide though they saw nothing. The darkness pressed closer, the house groaning around me. My thoughts spun. Should I run? Should I shout? Should I pretend I wasn't afraid? But then another thought rose, quiet but undeniable. If the power was out, if my phone was dead, if the flashlight was gone, it meant someone wanted it that way. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was full of weight, of pressure, of something unseen breathing in rhythm with me. My hands trembled so badly that the spoon clinked softly against the counter. The sound felt deafening, like a signal, like I had given myself away. Then another creak. Closer. I could picture it. The hallway door slowly inching open, shadows moving in ways they shouldn't. My breath caught and I pressed myself against the wall, praying my pounding heart wasn't loud enough to be heard. I thought about running. Out the back door, into the night, away from this suffocating dark. But my legs refused to move, my body frozen between fight and flight. I strained my eyes into the black, searching for shapes, outlines, anything. But there was nothing. Just the heavy, crushing certainty that I wasn't alone. A whisper of movement came from the living room. Not footsteps this time, something softer. A hand brushing against the couch, maybe. The scrape of fabric over wood. My chest tightened until I could barely breathe. I forced myself to speak, though my voice cracked. "I know you're here." The words fell into the darkness and vanished. No reply. The silence was worse than if someone had answered. At least an answer would prove I wasn't losing my mind. But this silence, it mocked me. I stumbled toward the kitchen drawer again, searching for a candle, a lighter, anything. My hands pushed through clutter, pens, paper, batteries that were all dead. My fingers found matches, small and thin. Relief surged, but when I struck one, it fizzled out instantly, the flame dying as if the air itself had been stolen. My body went cold. I tried again. Another match. A brief spark, then gone. I held the third in my trembling fingers, my breath shaking as I scraped it against the box. This time it caught, a small trembling flame. The tiniest circle of light in the sea of black. For a moment I felt hope. For a moment, I believed I had beaten the dark. And then in that dim light I saw it. A shadow. Not mine. Tall. Still. Standing just beyond the reach of the flame. My scream lodged in my throat. I blinked and the flame went out, leaving only darkness again. I dropped the match, my fingers shaking uncontrollably. My breath came in short gasps, my body frozen. I could still feel it, the presence. Watching. Waiting. I stumbled backward until I hit the wall, sliding down to the floor. My knees curled to my chest, my arms wrapped around myself. I whispered again and again. "This isn't real. This isn't real." But the house groaned, the floor creaked, and a soft tap echoed against the wall near me, like fingers trailing over the wood. I pressed my hands over my ears, but it didn't help. The sound wasn't just outside. It was inside me now. The certainty. The terror. And then came the whisper. Low. Almost tender. "You're not alone." My blood ran cold. I scrambled to my feet, the spoon clattering to the ground. My mind screamed to run, to throw open the door and flee into the night, but my legs shook too violently to move. I turned, spinning in the dark, desperate to catch a glimpse, to see the face that belonged to the voice. But the blackness swallowed everything whole. The air grew colder, heavier, pressing against me like invisible hands. My chest tightened, my breath caught, and for the first time I realized, this wasn't about power outages or dead phones. Someone wanted me here. Trapped. Helpless. Alone. And now they had me exactly where they wanted. The whisper echoed in my head long after it faded, as if the walls themselves repeated it. "You're not alone." My whole body trembled. My throat was dry, my chest heavy, but I forced myself to move, inching toward the door with hands outstretched, searching blindly in the dark. My fingers brushed the knob. Relief surged through me, but the metal was cold, too cold, like it hadn't been touched in years. When I twisted, it wouldn't budge. Locked. From the inside. I staggered back, panic clawing up my throat. That's when I heard it. Footsteps this time, slow and deliberate, circling the room. I spun wildly, arms raised, but there was nothing to see. Just the black swallowing me whole. I fumbled for the matches again, striking one with trembling fingers. The tiny flame hissed to life, trembling. Its light shook across the room, and for a second, just a second, I saw the outline of someone standing in the far corner. Tall. Still. Their face lost in shadow. The flame sputtered. Went out. Darkness crashed down again, heavier, denser, like it carried weight. My knees buckled and I stumbled against the table. The wood groaned under my grip. My breathing turned ragged, each inhale louder than the last. "Why are you doing this?" I shouted into the dark. My voice cracked. No answer. The air grew colder. My skin prickled, goosebumps racing across my arms. I could hear it again, breathing so close now it almost brushed my ear. I screamed, swinging my arm wildly, but my hand cut through nothing but air. I staggered, tripping over the rug, falling hard against the floor. Pain shot up my arm, but I scrambled back, pressing myself against the wall. My chest heaved, eyes wide, searching for even a shred of light. And then the sound stopped. The footsteps. The breathing. Everything. The silence pressed in louder than any scream. I sat frozen, my ears straining. Seconds passed. Then minutes. Nothing. Finally, with shaking hands, I struck another match. The flame trembled, lighting the room with a soft glow. And this time the corner was empty. No shadow. No figure. Nothing but furniture, familiar and harmless. My mind screamed at me, had it all been in my head? The voice, the shadow, the cold? Was I cracking under the weight of the dark? The match burned low, singeing my fingers. I dropped it with a hiss, darkness rushing back. That's when I felt it. Not heard. Not saw. Felt. A hand. Resting lightly on my shoulder. I froze, my entire body rigid. My breath stopped. The weight of fingers pressed gently into my skin. Unmistakable. Real. I spun, swinging my arm, but there was nothing. Just blackness. The scream stuck in my throat. My knees gave out and I sank to the floor. My eyes darted wildly, but the dark revealed nothing. Nothing but silence. Nothing but emptiness. And then the lights flickered back on. The room was as it always had been. The couch. The table. The rug. The closet door ajar. No shadows, no figures, no hands. My phone on the counter, its screen suddenly glowing with one battery. It looked normal. But it wasn't. Because I could still feel it. Fingers brushing my shoulder. The echo of a whisper in my ear. You're not alone. I staggered to my feet, the harsh light burning my eyes, my chest heaving. The house looked safe again, ordinary. But I knew the truth. The dark wasn't empty. And it was waiting.